Hi, everyone. Welcome to Weekly Affirmations for Creatives. It is week 16, and I am thrilled that you are here. If you happen to be new, this is a weekly project that I started at the beginning of the year. My name is Michelle Tracy Berger, and I am an award-winning writer and creativity coach. And I started this project to provide tools and inspiration to help creatives work on our mindset and using this thing we call affirmations. And I've approached it from a lot of different angles. Every week you get a new affirmation to play with, to adapt, to explore, to support, going from a negative to neutral to ideally positive self-talk as we can. I'm so excited about this week's affirmation. I'm going to say it 3 times. I actively court and woo my creative self. I actively court and woo my creative self. I actively court and woo my creative self. Okay, so first of all, what is a creative self? And I use sometimes interchangeably creative self or writer self because I'm that's the area that my creative medium is writing. Um, I feel that the creative self is the permission giver inside of ourselves. It is the kind of locus of imagination. It is the part of us that wants us to win, that wants us to give our gifts to the world. So I like to talk about the creative self in that way. So I have a question for you. When is the last time you actively courted or wooed your creative self? Hmm. Do I hear crickets in the background? Okay, no problem. For many of us, to exercise that connection with the creative self on a regular basis, it can fall off our radar, right? So we have a lot of things to do, and sometimes creativity and the expression of our creativity can fall toward the bottom of our to-do list, right? Like it creativity is so important, but it doesn't always feel urgent. And as we know, and when we're working on our to-do list, sometimes the things that feel urgent and that we're rushing around for rise to the top. So one of the things that this affirmation invites us to explore is really what is the state of our relationship with the creative self. And also, you know, we have to remember, just like any relationship we have with our friends, with intimate others, with colleagues, that the more that we have kindness, affection, those kinds of attitudes and behaviors really bring out the best in others, right? So when we think about our creative self, we have a relationship with it. So we want to think about feelings of kindness, appreciation, admiration, and directing that to the creative self. And so this affirmation gives us an opportunity to be playful with courting, wooing, connecting with the creative self. And I think this is an affirmation that you can use in a lot of different ways. You can just, again, like explore what is the state of your relationship with the creative self. What are the projects that you may be working on that you really love that the creative self has been supportive of, but you haven't been able to get to it. So kind of reconnecting with what is the expression of the creative self. I also think besides doing the actual affirmation, and you can always choose to write them, you can think them during the day, you can say them out loud, you can do a combination of exploring and expressing this affirmation. And I have in my other videos, I talk a little bit about different techniques. The other thing you can do besides whatever you currently might do with this affirmation, you can write a love letter to your creative self. Doesn't that sound fun? Right? So sitting down and just pouring out your gratitude for what your creative self has enabled to be expressed through you, right? And I'm not just talking about projects, but your way of being in the world, your worldview, your inspiration. So writing all that down in the form of a love letter can be super powerful just to, we want to generate feelings of excitement and connection. And again, when we're in the I've got to get to this, I've got to get to that, I don't have enough time. A lot of times creatives, we can be in the grip of talking about all the things that we want more of: time, money, recognition. But that's typically not the energy we need to create, right? So we have to be in a different energy to create kindness, affirmation, admiration, appreciation. That gets us more in the energy of that creative spirit, right? So doing a love letter is a beautiful thing. And you could print out that love letter, you could decorate it. I really encourage you, if you're going to write it, print it out and have it in your environment so you see it at least for the week that you're working on this affirmation. The other fun thing that you can do to connect with your creative self is to go on an artist date. Now, in one of my previous videos, I talked about the amazing book called The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. It is a classic in terms of self-discovery and creative initiative and kind of getting a better sense of your creative self. Highly recommend. It's been around for over 30 years. The artist date from that book is an exercise where every week you take yourself on an artist date. Basically, you can go and explore. It does not have to cost any money. It should be something that refreshes and renews your imagination. So going to a toy store perhaps and playing with some toys, or getting a sense of that inner child, going to a museum, going for a walk, just taking an hour and dedicating it to a connection you have with your own imagination and creativity. Super, super, super powerful. So I'll say the affirmation one more time. I actively court and woo my creative self. I would love to know how this lands for you. And as always, if you found value from this video, please like, please subscribe to the channel. And also, if there is another creative person that you know that might really like a little support and weekly encouragement, please tell them about this community. And again, would love to know how this is landing for you. Stay inspired, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much.